Tonight, varying views on Alberta's future.
We Albertans must be able to respectfully debate and discuss the issues here with our friends and our family.
The Alberta Next panel goes to the Premier's riding. Reading break. The UCP government's school book ban is on pause. And Calgarians help earthquake victims.
It's the worst case scenario, no.
The challenges faced trying to help those half a world away.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Sean Frenet.
Good evening. Danielle Smith and her Alberta Next panel took their province-wide tour to the Premier's own riding tonight. A large crowd in Medicine Hat expressed a wide range of opinions as the panel sought input on several topics, including an Alberta pension plan, a provincial police force, and constitutional changes.
If you're going to stand up for Alberta, right, and for Canada, you have to listen to all of us.
Listen.
Okay.
Listen. 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 You don't have to yell. I promise I'll let you talk. You don't have to yell.
One man expressed frustration about AISH benefits, but the moderator, former Wild Rose and PC MLA Bruce McAllister, said the discussion is limited to Alberta Next topics. The panel is made up of 15 people, including government MLAs and others from a variety of backgrounds. Here is a sample of what audience members and the Premier had to say.
This is not a forum for discussion. We are being spoken at. We are being given propaganda videos and forced to be fed what you are offering to the Alberta public.
Mrs. Premier, take us the hell out of Confederation. Now.
We're waiting to see if either of the petition campaigns gathers enough signatures. I think there's only one that's gathering signatures at the moment, and the other one is in a court process that isn't going to be completed until I'm not sure when.
That's the Premier responding to a query on how many questions may be on a referendum ballot on Alberta's sovereignty. More Alberta Next town halls are set for Lethbridge, Airdrie, Grand Prairie and Calgary later this month. The province's controversial book ban in schools remains on hold tonight. Before the pause, some teachers emptied or covered up bookshelves to comply with the order. Meanwhile, a potential lockout or teacher strike still looms. Tyson Fedor has more.
It was the first day back in class for Calgary students, a new school year mired in controversy.
We were hoping that the school boards would be able to identify those on their own and work with us to try to make sure that pornographic images are not being shown to young children. Clearly, we have to be a bit more directive on that.
The province's ban of books with sexual content in school libraries was paused. It was to come into effect October 1st, but schools and teachers were already busy removing books and covering up their libraries to comply with the government order. Critics say this pause is proof of wasted time and resources.
Premier, you asked if the school boards needed you to hold their hand and teach them how to do their job. Anytime, Premier, Albertans are happy to hold your hand and teach you how to be the Premier.
Author Margaret Atwood slammed the province once The Handmaid's Tale appeared on Edmonton Public Schools' banned list. Now the province's education ministry says classic literary works will remain, while books with what it considers graphic pornographic images will not.
We're pretty responsible with what our children consume inside and outside the school.
I'm definitely in favor of teaching our kids about the world as it is right now.
This comes as teachers and the government are at odds over a new contract.
Class size and complexity of our students are not being met. We are the least funded school jurisdiction in terms of spending that boards have on students in all of Canada and have been for years.
Last week, talks broke down, leaving some parents on edge.
I hope they can resolve things. We were watching for it over the weekend, and it doesn't sound like anything was really improving, so I honestly didn't think we're coming back to school today.
We're trying to balance the schedule.
Teachers have until October 7th to strike with 72 hours notice. The province says a lockout would only be used as a reactionary response that also requires 3 days notice.
Honestly, it's always in the back of our mind, but we proceed as if it is a normal first day of school. We just keep going forward until we're told otherwise.
One city councillor wants the city to open the doors to recreation centres and swimming pools if teachers are off the job.
Allowing the kids to recreate there as opposed to being wandering aimlessly on the street or home alone.
As for students, they hope the uncertainty does not interfere with the excitement of back to school.
I want to meet the new kids and see if they're friendly.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
One backcountry hiker in southeastern BC is dead and 2 others are missing. RCMP say they were alerted by a GPS SOS yesterday that 3 hikers fell over Meechin Creek Falls. The waterfall is located down a forestry road west of Kimberley. Searchers found a woman deceased halfway down the falls. The search continues for the other missing people. Police say the death is not considered suspicious. The search of Upper Kananaskis Lake continues after 2 people never resurfaced when their canoe capsized 1 week ago. 4 people in the canoe were not wearing life jackets. Nearby boaters and paddle boarders weren't able to save a 34-year-old man and a 33-year-old woman. Nearly a week after 2 young men drowned at a Calgary neighborhood lake, their fathers are speaking out and calling for change. They want mandated lifeguards and other protections. This comes as the fire chief answers questions about the pause of the department's dive team. Jordan Canagan reports.
A pair of drowning deaths in Calgary last week are prompting calls for better rules at Calgary's lakes.
I think there's an opportunity for us to improve the way our beaches are operated so that there won't be another story in the near future or even later that we lost someone.
Last Wednesday, Yagazi Ike Peters and Kaylin Escalante died while swimming at Mahogany Lake. They were both 20. What exactly happened is unclear, even to their families. But the fathers of the childhood friends are calling on private lakes and the city to have more protections for anyone on the water.
Maybe they could do something at Mahogany Lake. Maybe they could have like a lifeguard station or with a boat, you know? It's such a big lake.
Yagazi's father has now started a petition calling for mandatory lifeguards at private lakes in the city, or he at least wants to see better equipment available for when people go under and need saving.
Improvements are really needed. Otherwise, we may continue to have this kind of incidents where we lose lives for very simple changes that we can make.
All 3 of the fire department's aquatic rescue teams responded, but the bodies of the men were recovered by volunteer divers. The fire department's dive program is on pause.
Some of our equipment was out of date. We were struggling to keep up with the training for the size of the team, so we've done a bit of a review.
A review that will see the dive program back for next year. But the grieving fathers are urging any improvements so no other parents have to deal with something similar.
This is the worst kind of pain that you can ever experience.
Jordan Canagan, CTV News, Calgary.
Wildfire smoke is causing very poor air quality and reduced visibility in Calgary. Environment and Climate Change Canada ranked it 10+ last night. It's been in the high-risk range at 8 and then 7 this evening. The smoke is mostly coming from wildfires in the Northwest Territories, but also from Saskatchewan. Still, we are below last year's smoke numbers.
As of midnight last night, we were at 52 hours of smoke. And to put that in perspective, last year's numbers, of course, for the entire wildfire season to the end of October, but we saw 200 hours. So we've seen quite a bit less so far. 2023 was our smokiest year on record with 512 hours in the Calgary area.
A fire by Fort Providence, Northwest Territories led to evacuation orders, and Alberta crews are helping fight that fire.
All right, this morning in the city of Calgary, kids off to school for the first time for the school year, and our air quality health index was at a 10+, so that's the worst part of the scale. Tomorrow, while it will still be smoky at times, we will likely have less waves and they will likely be less intense. So we'll range from that air quality health index from a 4 to an 8, so moderate to high at times for tomorrow. And because we'll see a little less smoke tomorrow, our temperatures will be able to get a little higher because more of that sunshine will make it to the surface. So you're looking at a high of 30 degrees. Your full forecast is just ahead.
Thank you very much, Danielle. A businesswoman is charged with criminal negligence after the police bomb unit detonated an unstable chemical in the Manchester industrial area last week. Police say a moving company was hired to transport substances, but was not made aware of the true contents inside a package. The company took it to a recycling center, but was turned away. The package was brought back to the depot, where it sat for 10 days while they tried to contact the business that hired them. The company called 911 after discovering it was picric acid. Investigators say it would have cost around $70,000 to properly dispose of the chemicals. They allege the president of the business that hired the moving company intentionally did not disclose the contents.
Well, common practice with any chemical is to dispose of it the right way. We never use a moving firm to transport the goods to a landfill or to a place that is not built to dispose of it. There's no cheap way out, and unfortunately on this occasion, this costs a lot of people, a lot of time, a lot of cost.
59-year-old Christine Jacqueline Teschel is due in court next month. Police have charged a BC man with killing a Calgary woman last winter. Jaliska Mashke was found seriously injured on the Nose Creek pathway in December. She died in hospital. Police did not reveal the nature of her injuries at the time, but investigators said she was involved in an altercation. Nehemiah Walter John Osland of Cranbrook is charged with manslaughter. Police don't believe he knew the victim. A Calgary woman was found dead on Highway 2 late last night near the Okotoks turnoff. RCMP believe the 20-year-old was hit by a large vehicle such as a semi. The driver did not stop. Police want to hear from any witnesses or anyone with dash cam footage from the area at the time. Alberta's police watchdog has released more details on what happened when Calgary police shot a man in the southwest neighborhood of Yorkville. On August 18th, a woman called police to say a man assaulted her in a domestic incident. Police found the man on a city bus. The man came out of the bus and started to cut himself with a knife. One officer fired a taser twice, but it had no effect. Another officer fired his handgun twice, hitting the man in the leg. The man continued to harm himself and walk away. Officers then fired a baton launcher and more tasers. Finally, the man was handcuffed and taken to hospital. ACERT continues to investigate the use of force. The Calgary Zoo says it has euthanized one of its oldest grizzly bears. 35-year-old Skokie was receiving supportive care, including pain management and diet adjustments during his final years. The grizzly first joined the zoo in 1996 after becoming a problem bear in Banff National Park. Over the past 3 decades, the zoo says Skokie's calm, easygoing nature and presence taught millions of visitors about bears. The zoo is now closely watching his habitat mate. A bear cub was spotted wandering through the Signal Hill area in southwest Calgary over the weekend. Police and wildlife officers cornered the cub as it tried to climb a tree. A crowd gathered as the cub was tranquilized. It fell out of the tree but was okay and was relocated outside the city. Calgarians are mobilizing to help earthquake victims in Afghanistan. But will the results of their efforts reach those in need? That story coming up.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
The Taliban says an earthquake in Afghanistan killed 1,400 people. Many aid organizations believe the death toll could be much higher. In Calgary, the Afghan community is raising funds, but admits getting the money where it is most needed is difficult. Kevin Green reports.
A magnitude 6.0 earthquake struck a mountainous area in eastern Afghanistan late Sunday, flattening villages and burying families as they slept. The director of the Afghan Cultural and Educational Society in Calgary, Mohammed Masood Amery, says his wife's family was among the victims.
Yesterday I just talked with he's a cousin of, was a very close cousin of my wife. We just talked with them. He lost 13 people from one family.
His group is raising money through GoFundMe to help deliver aid to the area. But Latifa Majidi, who managed a multi-million-dollar NGO prior to the Taliban retaking the country, says getting aid where it's needed in Afghanistan is both logistically and politically difficult, and for women in need of help, nearly impossible.
It's worst case scenario now because no women are in humanitarian assistance. Who will help that woman? And they do not allow men to touch that woman.
Canadian humanitarian agencies are mobilizing, working through Afghan partners. Shelterbox Canada is preparing emergency shelter for survivors of the quake.
We're working with a local partner in Afghanistan based in the heavy affected regions to make sure that we're getting emergency shelter to people who right now are sleeping out in the open and have lost everything as temperatures are starting to drop.
In a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, Prime Minister Mark Carney said the aftermath of the earthquake in Afghanistan is horrific. Hundreds of lives lost, families displaced, and communities facing unimaginable hardship. As the Afghan people recover and rebuild, Canada stands ready to provide humanitarian support through our partners. The United Nations says rescue efforts are slowed by mountainous terrain and frequent aftershocks. Aid groups warn the death toll will likely climb as they reach further into the affected area and into more remote villages. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
We have more information about Shelter Box and how to donate to the local GoFundMe campaign on our website. A new fire hall is open in the city's far northeast. A community event marked the official opening of the two-bay Cornerstone Fire Station. It replaces a temporary fire hall in Skyview Ranch and is a hazardous household waste drop-off point. The fire chief says there will be only one fire truck and 4 firefighters on call at the station for now, but it has the capacity to expand.
The city's risk profile is evolving with densification, with the growth of the city in general, and we watch that constantly with the data that we collect and make very informed decisions on where's the best place to have our fleet stationed and our firefighters deployed.
The city is also looking to create non-market housing next to the fire hall if approved by council. The fire station cost more than $16 million. It is smoky out there tonight, and it will be for the remainder of the night. Danielle Smith will be back here with a moment and tell us about some much warmer weather coming up.
All right, well, daytime highs today, not quite as high in the city of Calgary, for example. We only got to 21 because there was so much smoke out there. The sun couldn't get to the surface, well, like it would have today otherwise. All right, 21 was the high in Edmonton, just 19 in Regina and Saskatoon for today. We have a big upper level low off to the east, and this is helping drive that air in from the north, that yucky, smoky air from the north because of the counterclockwise spin of a low. This will be in place, in fact, for the next few days. Now, while it's hard to forecast smoke more than a few days out, what I can say is you can expect smoky waves over the next few, because check out this low. It's not really going anywhere. It's intensifying off to the east, but it's going to keep that flow out of the north, and that's where the fires are. It's going to drag the smoke in. So at times it will be reasonable. So at times we'll be on the moderate level of the scale between 4 to 6. For example, tomorrow we'll be at moderate for parts of the day, but parts of the day will likely shoot back up to that higher risk, an 8 for tomorrow in the city. So here's a look at the waves on and off right in through Friday. So that's what you can expect, really. When we look at that longer range forecast tomorrow, because we'll have less waves of smoke, we're looking at getting to a high of 30 degrees. So we'll get a little more sun peeking through and getting to the surface tomorrow, which will likely get us up to 30. Now, that air quality health index, again, will range from a 4 to an 8. So 4 is on that moderate level and safer to go out. 8 when we get to that higher risk. Of course, it's recommended that you stay indoors, especially if you have underlying health conditions. Thursday and Friday, we're looking at that air quality health index bumping up to between a range of a 6 to a 10, and then on Friday from a 4 to an 8 again. Daytime highs by Thursday and Friday will be in those lower 20s, and then we should get into those mid 20s by the time we get into the weekend.
Okay, thanks very much, Danielle. A trusty sidekick has been restored to his former glory in a Northwest Calgary neighborhood. A sculpture was stolen from Hanson Ranch in August 2024 after someone cut the bolts holding the dog to a concrete platform. No one has been caught in the crime, which was part of a rash of thefts targeting bronze plaques. The 2 statues depict Gene Hanson, the namesake of Hanson Ranch, being trailed by his dog. When she was born, Alberta was just 20 years old and Mackenzie King was Prime Minister. Today, the Calgarian turned 100 and her family celebrated. Her story is coming up. Stampeder fans left McMahon Stadium last night in a great mood. The Stamps stomped the Edmonton Elks 28-7 in the Labor Day Classic. The Stamps are now 8-3 on the season. Glenn Campbell has more on the win and what's next.
Adams, far corner, end zone, got it! You know things are going your way when your starting quarterback isn't entirely happy after a 28-7 victory. Vernon Adams Jr. says he needs to do more.
And I'm not going to say as an offense. I'm saying myself. You know, I'm missing too many throws. Guys wide open. So it's like a weird feeling for me. Like, we got the win, it's good, but I feel like I let my team down. You know, and so I just want to be better for these guys, man. They work too hard. We all work too hard for me to play like that.
Make no mistake, this victory was all about the defense. They were relentless and pressured Cody Fajardo all game long. The Elks quarterback was sacked 5 times. The Stamps didn't allow the Elks into the end zone. Fajardo not happy.
I mean, hard to kill is something that we preach a lot. Like, we don't want anyone to score a touchdown. Like, even if it's the last minute of the game, we take a lot of pride in keeping teams outside the end zone.
As with any Labor Day Classic, there are big plays to turn the tide of a game. And that big play came from returner Eric Brooks. He took a punt back 86 yards for the major score that put the Stamps up by 13 points at the time. It was the turning point.
It was electric. I heard him getting loud, so I'm just like, oh, don't get caught, don't get tackled. And once I broke away, I was ecstatic once I got in there. So it felt really good. The crowd was for sure behind us all night.
The same two teams hook up for the rematch in Edmonton on Saturday. The Stamps are now 6-0 against the West this season. Head coach Dave Dickinson would love to go up to Edmonton and take round 2 on Saturday.
It is a pivotal 2-game stretch. If you could ever sweep it, it really does allow you to get to where you want to get to. So that's the goal, is to see if we can go up there and sweep the back-to-back. We get them later in the year, but if you can ever sweep a Labor Day back-to-back, that certainly helps your team.
Glenn Campbell, CTV Sports, Calgary.
The rematch in Edmonton is Saturday just after 5 p.m. A Calgary woman is celebrating her 100th birthday. Her family put on a party this afternoon.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Joyce Hilland was born in Rosedale near Drumheller in 1925 to a CN rail station master and his homemaker wife. As a teenager, Hilland and her sister helped their dad with managing shipments, the telegraph, and bookkeeping. She has traveled across North America and to Norway. She and her husband Gordon raised 4 children while operating Esso gas stations in Northwest Calgary. Hilland doesn't have any secrets to a long life, but loves that her family got together today.
I think it's very wonderful. I appreciated the family doing this. I thought it was not necessary.
Hilland's family says she has always maintained an astute interest in the stock market and politics, and she voted in this year's federal election. Happy birthday indeed, Joyce. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Have a good night. See you again here tomorrow.